Welcome back to the Expansion Pack podcast, where we download this week's content and bring it to you. Once again, I'm your host, Danzel, aka Black Ice 8, joined by my incredible co-host, starting with Manny, aka Goopmaster Flex. Say what's up to the people.
You already know, the one and only.
All right, all right. And then, of course, we've got Chris, aka May 25th.
In the
As
building.
always, can't forget the XX.
In the building.
All right. Well, we got another week of content here. You know, we took off last week for the holiday. How are you guys doing?
You know, just chilling, gaming, enjoying my new favorite game, Animal Crossing. So, you know how we do.
Oh, brother. All right. Did you guys get a chance to play anything new this over the holiday or play anything in general?
Gang Beast, yo.
Gang Beast?
Beast.
That's the game for Chris.
Yo, the game is fun, bro. I got introduced to it on Thanksgiving.
Hey man, yeah, Black Friday. They had some sales, man. They had some game sales. So, you know, if there's anything you dove into. Manny, did you try anything over the course of the
Of course, since the last episode, tried out what's that game called? Yeah, Valhalla. Assassin's Creed Valhalla.
Okay.
Played that, a little bit of Watch Dogs, and a little bit of Ghost of Tsushima. Finally, you know, got my little, toes dipped in, I guess you could say.
Okay, all right, cool. All right, I don't think I got a chance to pick up anything new. Well, I got a couple new games like what was it called, Monopoly Plus, and like some fun things that I got to play with my wife. But overall, I've still been working away at Assassin's Creed. Still been working away at Destiny. Destiny's actually consumed my week. It's been kind of embarrassing.
Same.
But it's all right. It is what it is.
I don't know how I play that game.
I don't know how you don't play that game, Manny.
You're not gonna get into that. But we were all playing a Rogue Company yesterday. That was that was amazing. Check out Goopmaster Flex's stream for that content right there. We were rolling through teams. Also, shout out to Fat Rabbit, aka Felix. You know, he was holding it down with us. That was a good day. It was a good gaming session.
Yeah,
for sure.
Sir.
Sometimes you just need the simple games, you know.
Yeah, well, I don't know.
Well, I don't know about simple, but
I mean, but like it's not like hard either, you know. Like the mechanics is very like just go in, do your thing, and do well, get money, buy good shit, and then go back.
I feel like you're diminishing the skill gap in that game. You're really good at that game, though. You're good at the game, so like I think it's not necessarily an easy game, but it's definitely less complicated than most games. So it is what it is. But that was last week and the week before. But what we've got coming up this week is Cyberpunk, of course, right? Everybody's excited for Cyberpunk.
It's about damn time.
Of course, and we got the Game Awards as well, both on Thursday, which kind of sucks that they're both on the same day. But it is what it is. Make sure
I'll be taking a trip to New Zealand on the day
Wednesday.
So,
shout out to those who know about the New Zealand trick. We'll definitely be utilizing that on Wednesday. But yeah, guys, make sure you check us out on Thursday. We'll be live streaming the Game Awards starting at 6:30. So make sure to check us out at YouTube, our typical YouTube channel. We may also be streaming it on our respective Twitch channels as well. We'll have to figure that out, but make sure to check out our Instagram for more information on that before Thursday. But yeah, we're gonna dive into our typical icebreaker here. So I think this one's in honor of Cyberpunk coming out this week, and as usual, we'll let Chris take it away with the question.
Well, this week's icebreaker, y'all, with Cyberpunk being as super ginormously open world as it seems like it is, what's the first thing y'all gonna do when y'all get in that world? Like, what are y'all linear players? Do you all just like usually get into games like this and just jump right into the campaign and just not even do any side quests? Do you like to just hang around the city and see what kind of trouble you can get? Like, what's the first thing you're doing?
Manny, you want to start it up?
Definitely gonna stream it. You gotta stream the Cyberpunk when it comes out. You know, I don't know. I might run through the story. I just want to see what the story's about. Of course, gotta play some side missions as well. But I just want to see what that the hype is. I know there's like I heard multiple different stories with depending on which lifestyle or whatever you pick. So I definitely want to try that out. Roll through each story and just just enjoy the game for what it's supposed to be.
All right. All right.
Word. For me, so I definitely leaning towards what Manny was saying in regards to just diving headfirst into the story. I'm excited to make my character, make him look just like me, and I'm probably gonna go the corpo route, where I'm like starting off as a business person or whatnot. From my understanding, you get access to some nice high level cars, which I'm really excited to mess around with some nice high level gadgetry. And yeah, the thing that's really cool about the game is that picking that branch, whether you pick Corpo or Nomad or Street Kid or whatever, like all of that different stuff will matter in your story, right? Like it'll change the different options that you have as far as speaking to people. It changes how people react to you from what we've seen so far. So I'm really, 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 really excited to dive into the story as a corpo.
Okay. Well, me, I'm a degenerate, so I plan on not following no part of the story at first. I'm going into the streets at nighttime. I'm the person that's gonna be in random alleys, figuring just how far the rabbit hole goes. They said that this game is detailed beyond detailed. So my thing is, okay, if I wanted to come in this world and just be an absolute just piece of scum, just terrible. How deep does it go? So that is my goal. Day one. Also with the streaming, I think we all should sure, but like
For sure.
I just want to see how dastardly of a character I could create in this world.
He belongs to the streets.
Nah, he belongs to the pits of Armageddon. Is where he belongs.
Oh God.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So you're thinking you're gonna go Nomad or Street Kid?
I guess it's a good question. I guess Nomad, because Nomad I would assume kind of can just go with the wind kind of thing. Maybe end up in Street Kid scenarios. Maybe end up in Corporal scenarios. It seems like the Nomad one probably be more my speed. If I had
Well,
to.
Nomads, they apparently will be like they won't even be in Night City. You won't start off in Night City. You'll start off like Nomads are the people who live on the outskirts of Night City. So yeah, you'll be like kind of like the outcast, I guess you could say. And then the Street Kids, they aren't necessarily rich, but they like know the streets. Like people know them on the streets. Like I would assume that one might have some value for you.
Yeah, man. I'm here for all the scumminess, man. So,
Do with the scumminess, man.
What about you, Manny? Which one do you think you're going to lean towards? Corpo, Nomad, Street Kid?
I mean, I belong to the streets, so you already know how we're going to do.
Okay. All right. So we got 2 Street Kids and a Corpo. All right.
Yeah.
I'm really excited. Like next week after VGAs and all that stuff, one thing that you guys can expect to hear is obviously our experiences, our review, if you will, on Cyberpunk. I'm really, really excited to hear about the different scenarios that we run into as Corpo and Street Kid and so on and so forth. Like I'm excited to hear how that all shakes out.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. Okay.
That's the cool thing about it, man.
Yeah. Well, again, guys, stay tuned next week. We'll have a little bit more to say about Cyberpunk, hopefully.
Of course.
But let's dive into this week's topics here. So, we've got a couple things to discuss. But Manny, I'm going to let you take this first topic here.
Starting off with Solid Snake being casted by Oscar Isaac. The more I look at Oscar Isaac, I can picture my boy Solid Snake, and just like the way he got the little beard going and everything like that. We wonder what part of the series is he going to take. Could it be like Metal Gear Solid 3, where it's like the Cold War days, or like the first one where they're in Alaska. Um, Very excited to see what to do with the direction. Movie's being directed by Jordan Walt Roberts, somebody who did Kong Island, I think. Never seen that movie, but I hope, I just hope that it's a good Metal Gear movie, because like Metal Gear is my favorite game franchises, or one of my favorite game franchises all time. So we better be getting bangers, you know. Um, but I mean, how do you guys feel about Oscar Isaac? I know he played Poe in Star Wars and other movies as well, but do you guys see him as being the Solid Snake?
I'll start off, I guess. I have tremendous faith in Oscar Isaacs. I feel like his range is freaking insane.
Yeah,
uh, I mean, I loved him in Star Wars. He was also in, oh my god, I can't forget the name of the movie. I can't remember the name of the movie, but like it's about AI. Um, yeah, Ex Machina.
Oh, he wasn't there. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I love him in like almost every movie that he's ever been in. So I have tremendous faith that he will kill it. Like he's dope. Um, and yeah, it's interesting. It seems like Sony's really kind of like diving into the whole. They're really trying to pull all the different characters that they have in their box, whether it be Spider-Man or Nathan Drake, and obviously Solid Snake. Like they're really trying to make more and more movies and make more and more content. I think it's really smart, and I'm super excited to see it. And Manny, to your point, like I'm interested to see more than anything where they decide to go with this. I mean, I guess it would make sense that they would start at the very beginning. But you never know. They could jump to Metal Gear 2. They could jump to Metal Gear 3. The interesting thing about Metal Gear from the structure of the games is that the games don't follow a linear path as far as time goes. So obviously 3 is kind of like a prequel to the rest of them, right?
yeah, that started with
Like
the
Cold War and all that stuff.
era.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's like could they start there? Could where could they go? And then typically in these movies, the answer tends to be a mixture of those things. Like I could easily see the very first one, them going back to the very first Metal Gear, and in essence showing you glimpses of Metal Gear 3, like kind of having those
Yeah.
stories woven. So yeah, I'm excited to see it. But yeah, Chris, what about you, man?
Yeah, I'm excited for all these little video game to movie scenarios that we seem to kind of be getting more and more frequently. Um, does he have the look for the movie and all that good stuff? Definitely, I could see him doing it. And to be honest, I can't really think of anybody else off the top right now who I could also see doing it. But yeah, I hope the movie hits me in the same way that Captain America hit me. Like in terms of just a guy who is just fists and boots. You know what I mean? Like I wanted to see more like that rather than all these gadgets and stuff that he kind of has from the video game. I don't know. I just want him to kick ass. You know what I mean? I want him to be ground and pound. Y'all remember the first time y'all saw a cat kick that dude into the truck? He made a dent with his body.
Yeah.
See, yeah, I need that. I need that.
It's
Well,
interesting.
we know Snake ain't that strong where you're making dents in the
Oh,
truck.
yeah,
Right.
but
It's like he's more of like a tactical kind of guy.
Yeah,
you know
he's
what I'm saying?
definitely really tactical. Like his movements are like I'm envisioning like a Jason Bourne type of thing.
Yeah.
Mm.
As far as the way he like will maneuver and like is more stealthy and more methodical with his movements. Whereas Cap, like I love the way they cast him and the way he all played out, but like he was a super soldier in the sense that he was just a tank, right? Like he would just run in there, fuck shit up, and be out. Although there was that I think it's not the one you're talking about though, but like where he was on the that boat and was like he was pretty much like stealthing around, like running
Yeah, Metal Gear
around and like
Solid 2. Yeah.
no. I'm talking about Cap with Captain
With
America.
Cap.
Like
yeah.
him and Natasha were on that boat. Yo, but that's crazy though, right? Like that's interesting because that's kind of how I would envision, although a little less aggressive about it, but I would kind of envision him like running around the boat, like taking out people like one by one, like okay, like running here, running on the wall, jumping down, snap this one dude's neck, like, yeah, I think it's gonna be pretty wild. It's always interesting because Kojima, right? All of his stories are movie worthy, right? They're ridiculous. They don't necessarily make a lot of sense all the time. Not as bad as Final Fantasy, but they usually don't make too much sense. Uh, there's always like some point in the middle of the story where things just get weird, like praying mantis in Metal Gear 1.
Yeah.
But they're spectacular nonetheless. Like almost every Kojima story that he's ever created has been spectacular. Whether that be the little bit that we saw from PT, obviously all the stuff we know from Metal Gear, and of course what we know now from oh my god, I'm blanking on the name of the game.
Death Stranding.
Yeah. Always interesting stories.
Well, we also know that recently heard that Silent Hills is giving the green light for Kojima. So he's what is it called? I believe it's Kojima, but they're actually going to be able to make the game. And we heard rumors about an announcement of this VGA Awards. So I'm excited to see that. I mean, Kojima, he's a brilliant dude. He always makes a great story. So he has that great outline set for Jordan Vaught with his the movie, the way he hopefully directing it in the right direction. So like this better not disappoint, because like even though like Metal Gear Survived, the latest installment in the series, was pretty bad, but that was because Kojima wasn't there. But like there's a lot of great content that he can pull from and make a great movie from.
Speaking of that, though, do we know if Kojima's involved in this movie at all? Like, obviously,
that was my question.
Yeah, him and Konami have obviously had a very tumultuous relationship since. I would assume that he's not involved. Well, then again, it's being made by Sony, right? So
yeah, and Kojima is partnered with Sony somehow. So
they tend to partner together, but like they're friends, right? Like they tend to do things together, and like we saw with PT and so on and so forth, and obviously Death Stranding, but they're not necessarily owned by like Sony doesn't own Kojima Productions. They're still a relatively independent studio.
Yeah.
So I wonder. I mean, I guess if Sony was able to finagle something with Konami, then maybe Kojima's involved in some way. At the same time, there was that rumor floating around that Sony may be buying Konami. I don't know if Sony has that kind of pull right now, but I think it would be interesting.
They see not PlayStation. They see Xbox buying these studios. Who knows? Maybe they might buy Konami and just.
Yeah, but they don't have that kind of money, right? Like Sony, don't get me wrong, obviously they're doing very well for themselves, specifically their PlayStation brand. PlayStation brand is what's holding up Sony right now. But I don't think they don't have like cash in the bank like Microsoft has to like sit there and go spend $7.5 billion on anything, right?
Because Microsoft is like around like pretty much everywhere. You got Windows, the Xbox around
right,
the world,
yeah.
Stuff,
Microsoft isn't just Xbox. So if anything, well, Xbox does well for Microsoft. Like it's one of their $1 billion, I guess like industries or subcategories or whatever you want to call it. But you think about it, it's like it is one of many $1 billion things that Microsoft has. Right?
Yeah.
So that money's just sitting in a bank somewhere. Like, oh, we want to do this to invest in more gaming. Let's go ahead and do that. Another thing, just this week, Microsoft bought Smash.gg, which is a tournament organization site. Apparently, though, interestingly enough, it's not the Xbox team that bought it. It was just Microsoft. So I guess it's going to get woven into MSNBC, and it'll be like kind of their esports page. It's cool either way, but like again, it just speaks to like Microsoft has so much money they can just go do things like that. I don't know if Sony has that kind of money to sit there and say, "Hey, we're gonna go buy Kojima," or Konami specifically.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. We'll see how that goes. But yeah, I mean, I'm definitely excited to see Metal Gear. Definitely excited to see Oscar Isaac. But jumping over to the next topic here, hopefully this, considering this is something that's seems like it's well in development. Hopefully we'll see it by next year. Hopefully at PAX, which is our next topic, PAX 2021.
PAX 2021.
I think it's really weird that but yeah, they've announced it. PAX is gonna have in-person events next year. We were just talking about this last episode, whether or not we think we'll start seeing in-person events again. And I guess PAX has announced it.
They must have saw the
Interestingly
podcast.
enough, though, they did say that I guess it'll be tentative dates, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which I think is kind of weird in general, even to just announce this as is, knowing the state of the world. But it does seem like they've kind of made some adjustments. From what we know, PAX East, which is typically in the March April timeframe, is scheduled to be June 3rd, which is actually where we would typically see E3. So sounds like they're definitely anticipating that we won't have an E3 there.
Right.
And then, of course, we have PAX West, which is going to be on September 3rd through 6th, which is was closer to their typical time frame. And then we have PAX Unplugged, which is December 10th to 12th. Do you guys know anything about PAX Unplugged? I don't think I've ever heard.
I've never heard of it ever.
Never.
Yeah, definitely heard of. Obviously, we've heard of East and West, but Unplugged, maybe that's something new.
Tabletop gaming.
What do
Uh-oh.
you guys think about this? Chris, I'll let you start off, man.
Hold on, say that one more time because on my end you cut out. I didn't hear anything you just said.
I was just saying, not too sure what PAX Unplugged would be, but I'm just curious what you guys think about the fact that they're bringing back PAX next year.
Oh, man, I think it's smart on their end because I mean, like, we don't know 100% how the rest of 2021 or anything like that's going to shake out. They say they got this vaccine on the horizon, but then, at first it's not even going to be available to the public. It's only going to be available to, essential workers and healthcare workers and all this stuff. So I think it's a little bit of a rollout phase that we're going to be going through between like January and let's just say June, July.
Mm-hmm.
But I do think it's smart for certain businesses to say, we're going to at least plan for this kind of capacity, given the fact that it seems like there's a little bit of optimism on the horizon.
Yeah.
And then also, building it into the fact that, if they're saying it's tentative, then they must be planning with the idea that it could up and go and smoke at any second. So
Mm-hmm.
I really like the idea that they're putting something like this together. I really would love to go to something like this because especially like right now, because I think about the climate of gamers and shit like that over the course of this past year.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, you remember, just like how I remember, when we were looking at capture cards and stuff before COVID kicked in and all that stuff, and they were maybe, I want to say $60-$70 cheaper than they're going for right now. And they were also in abundance, and like after COVID kicked in, they were sold out everywhere for a while. The prices shot up. This is a thing where people are starting to pick up with this stuff. And events like PAX East or whatever are like the perfect opportunity for, networking and meeting people for collaboration opportunities. And it would just be so dope to actually happen this year just because of how many new people I know just like pretty much stepped into the arena. A lot of people could use the rub. A lot of people could use just bumping into the right person and just having like a 10-minute conversation. And that's the one thing that, all this digital stuff is awesome, but it's not the same as like going to a convention and just sitting at a table and having a random conversation with somebody easily. And then now you have a new contact in your phone that you can reach out to and get some work done. It's just, it's easier to do it that way. It's much easier. So do I want this to work out? Yeah. For selfish reasons, for productivity reasons, for a couple different things, but you got to look at it with a grain of salt. Like it would be like dumb for anybody to kind of get too excited about it. I don't think it's worth that, but
yeah, I feel that
it's cool. It's cool. I'm glad that it seems like we're at least trying to get into this space of at least making the plans.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Manny, before I let you go, I actually just pulled up a statement here, so I figured there'd be some good to get some context behind here, but apparently from Penny Arcade themselves. So just kind of cutting out some excerpts from here. So we're announcing our dates now to help partners plan for the upcoming year on how they might attend, as well as provide a chance to start conversations about how to bring attendees, panelists, exhibitors, and our broader community together with these events that are 7 months away. They also go on to say safety is always our highest priority, and we want to put these shows on for you, and in a way that still feels like PAX. but these things require a runway. Basically, they're saying, things can get complicated, so why not tell everybody all at once? And that totally makes sense. Another thing they go on to say here is, let's just say the quiet part out loud. If COVID remains a major barrier to safety gatherings at one of our shows, we won't do it, and we'll make it virtual. As much as we miss, even crave the togetherness and magic of a PAX, we will not put attendees, exhibitors, and our guests at risk for the sake of an event if things aren't on the up and up. So yeah, it definitely seems like they're planning ahead. It definitely sounds like they're being responsible. So I look forward to this, and all we can do is cross our fingers and hope that COVID isn't as much of a concern.
Well, we know, like last summer, like once it reached like the hot weathers, like COVID, like kind of like died down a little bit, at least in the East Coast where we're at, like places like California or like Florida, like obviously they're heavily populated, and they're like they will like do a lot more stuff than like over here us in the East Coast just chilling at home gaming. But like we just hope that everybody keeps on following the guidelines, so that something like PAX East, PAX West, and all that kind of stuff can still happen, and some people can enjoy the shows and stuff like that, the panels that they bring out, community. So we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, we're all itching for things to go back to normal for sure.
I'll make one more point too. I just wanted to add on.
Mm-hmm.
I also think it's a good thing too, because we need stuff like this to be taking chances in order for us to ever possibly get back E3. These things like PAX East and all these other potential conventions at least will open the door for people to look at how they should go about modeling their events going forward and stuff like that. So I'm happy that they're at least even being a guinea pig for the rest of everybody else, because somebody's to do it, So
I feel you. As much as I hate to say it, I still think E3 is dead. I still don't think we're gonna have another E3, because even before COVID, they were talking about how E3 might be a thing of the past. So I feel like COVID might have just been the nail in the coffin, and I believe me, I really, 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 really hope I'm wrong, but I don't know if
I don't want to hear that, because then that makes us not going on that trip even worse. Because you're telling me we potentially missed out on the last E3 ever? Is that what you're saying, bro?
Yeah, I think that might be what I'm saying.
Man.
But you know what the telltale sign of it is, though? Is the fact that they announced their date for PAX East to be June 3rd through 6th, which is again typically the time frame that E3 would be on. We're definitely not going to see one next year, and if we do, obviously they'd have to push it a little bit. But I think my biggest thing with why we won't see an E3 doesn't even have anything to do with that type of COVID and that type of stuff. It's just the idea that exhibitors were pulling out already, right? Like Sony pulled out. We hadn't seen Sony for 2 years, right? Microsoft, they didn't necessarily pull out in the same way, because they had a venue that's kind of right across the street. So they were kind of like E3 adjacent. They kind of partnered with E3 on certain things, but they weren't actually on the show floor. And, we had a bunch of other big names that EA, right? They pulled out years ago, and they were doing their own thing in a separate event. Ubisoft now had to switch to their Ubisoft Connects. I would have to imagine that these are things that they will invest in over time to be their thing, right? Like, and I think it might be a good thing for the industry, to not have to worry about like this one big event, because really the E3 is for media. It used to be for other vendors too. It might be a good thing for the industry to have big news spaced out and not necessarily all come to us all at once. So all those things are why I think we probably won't be seeing any E3 going forward.
And it's cheaper.
Yeah, it's cheaper for those companies, right? They don't have to invest in this big booth and all this crazy stuff and booth babes, which obviously hasn't really been a thing for years. But like, you don't have to invest in the employees to man the booths. You don't have to invest in creating demos for people to play, right? Like all those things can get streamlined and changed. And if that can save a company $1 million, $2 million, whatever it might be, you can definitely see how it might not be in the cards going forward. Now, with that being said, we'll still have the PAXs, we'll still have the Guardian Cons, at some point. But E3 itself and what we know it to be, it'll either have to just change altogether or evolve. Hopefully, it evolves. It seemed like this year or last year when we were supposed to go, last June, it seemed like it was supposed to take that next step. It was supposed to evolve and become more of a consumer show as opposed to being an industry trade show. But I guess again, we'll have to see where all that stuff. The hope, the best case scenario in my mind is that all of this forces the industry to evolve in such a way that we get like a big show every season. I think that's like a tall tale or a tall ask.
Yeah.
I hope
but
so.
I think it would be amazing. I really think it would be amazing.
I definitely would love that. Nice big show every season, like a little Nintendo Direct for every thing. But
yeah, I mean, I think that can be a thing. Like Nintendo obviously won't do it because Nintendo goes off the beat of their own drum. But we had like the Xbox Fan Fest thing, right? Like that if things go well, in theory, would come back next year as an in-person event somewhere, right? They do EXO 2021, and it would be in Chicago or something like that. And we can all go there and like celebrate all things Xbox, and then we'd have the PlayStation experience, and that would be in, I don't know, Texas or something like that. And we can all go there and have fun, right? Like, I think those types of things might happen more, and it could be a good thing for all of us, right? We can all just go. We don't have to wait for the big thing of E3. We have our choices of different events that we can go to and interact and network and find people like us who love Xbox or love PlayStation or love Destiny or love Animal Crossing, whatever it may be.
Boy, yeah, laughing. I thought that was a nice serious statement.
I am being serious though. Manny could be over there with his Animal Crossing Con or whatever, Crossing Con, whatever.
We all know he's got his Switch right under his desk right now, playing as we're recording the.
I don't understand what's wrong with Animal Crossing. Animal Crossing. That game is good. But
all right. Well, we'll pivot over to the next topic here. So of course, we're all talking about events and live events and, being able to go see each other and all that jazz. One of the events that's still going on, as we've talked about before, is the Game Awards. In fact, it's coming up this week, this Thursday, the 10th. And, we I guess maybe we'll take a little bit of a moment to just discuss a little bit more about what we hope to expect this Thursday. We've already gone over the nominees and whatnot. But what are we looking forward to in regards to announcements? Any big news? The Game Awards has always been in a large way the closest thing that we get to a winter E3, right? Like we get a ton of big news in this night. Usually from all the heavy hitters. So what are you guys expecting to see? Manny, I'll start with you.
So since we're hearing rumors, I'm expecting the PS5 Pro to, be announced.
Oh God.
Nah, but seriously, I know I did mention the whole Silent Hills and then like the Kojima possibly having an appearance in the VGAs with his new announcement. So if we do get to see like a Silent Hills, come out on like a little teaser trailer or whatever, because we already know PT, that game was scary and like, everybody loved it, but the only thing was, obviously with Konami, Kojima, them having disagreements and stuff like that, we weren't able to get that experience. So if the rumors are true and they actually like come out with a teaser trailer to tell us that, hey, this is actually coming out, like I'm sure like me personally, I'll definitely be excited. Another scary game that I'll probably never beat until like 5 years, but like what I'm saying, I'm just up for it.
Okay. Word. Okay.
Yeah,
Chris, anything you're expecting to see?
I'm hoping for like Halo news. I feel like ever since they said that they pushed the game back, like it's been hella hush. And for me in specifics, like I've never really been able to get through the older ones, so I'm waiting for this game to come out to see if like I'm truly like about that Halo life. But like they, dragging their feet on this shit. And I don't know what's happening. And It's funny, man. I was thinking about it. I was like, man, people reacted to that trailer like how everybody reacted when the Sonic the Hedgehog trailer first came out.
Mm.
Remember how people was like, "Yo, what the hell is?"
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Yeah.
and that
You know,
it turned out for the best though, because that
it
movie
did.
apparently I haven't seen it yet, but apparently people love it. They say it's one of the best video game adaptation or game to movie adaptations that they've seen. I think that's weird. I don't get it. I really need to watch it,
Yeah, man.
but yeah, apparently did him some good.
I need to see what they did with this. Like, I guess I want to see what they changed graphically. I want to see what willing to show in the other trailer because I feel like whatever they come with next has to kind of like hook people hard, right? Like they're gonna try to really show out because they don't want the same thing to happen two times because that'd be a really bad look. Yeah. If I had to pick one thing I need news from, it'd be that. I want to hear what's going on with that.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's crazy because you mentioned, the reaction. I feel like it was so polarizing, right? Like there were a lot of people who watched that trailer, and I'm honestly one of those people. I was like, I'm ready for this. Like I wasn't necessarily expecting Halo to be like a graphical showcase. And I also understood that the game was still in development. So like I was like, all right, this is our first look, whatever. Like I liked what I saw from a gameplay standpoint. From a gameplay standpoint, like I can't really think of many people who were disappointed from a gameplay standpoint. And
Yeah.
I mean, obviously that's why we play the games, right? Like, we want to have fun. Like, yeah, I understand that it wasn't as pretty as it probably could have been and probably will end up being. But from a gameplay aspect, like it looked extremely fun. It looked massive, and the whole open world standpoint of kind of like Breath of the Wild in the sense of like you can go and do whatever it is that you want, and the gameplay isn't necessarily linear, but you're still playing out like a full-fledged Halo story. I thought that was extremely interesting to me. So, from what we've heard from the grapevine, it really does seem like all they're really doing is just changing the graphics. So, I mean, I think just giving themselves a little bit of extra time to maybe pop in the ray tracing and maybe make a couple adjustments because there were some rumors that the game wasn't running as well as they wanted it to on the Xbox One as opposed to the Series X and whatnot. So I'm excited to see that. I hope that that's coming too. I'm a huge Halo fan, and I hope to hear a lot more from Halo Infinite soon. But I think the biggest thing I'm expecting, I actually have a couple things I'm expecting, but the biggest thing I'm expecting is probably the game that the Initiative's been working on. For those who don't know, the Initiative is a quadruple A studio that Microsoft created in Santa Monica with a lot of industry veterans, people who worked on God of War, people who worked on I want to say Grand Theft Auto, like a ton of different industry veterans. Yeah, they put them all together and they're working on this new game, and I want to know what it's about. The rumors is that it's Perfect Dark or something in that universe. I was a massive, massive, massive Perfect Dark fan back in the day. I even liked the 360 launch title Perfect Dark Zero that was notably trash that nobody liked.
Yeah.
But I enjoyed it. I did. It was one of my few games that I could play on the Xbox 360 when it came out. That and Halo 2, which was obviously backwards compatible.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, the thing that everybody's always knocked Microsoft for is that they haven't had a lot of games. We know that they've made a lot of steps to change that, right? They bought a whole bunch of studios, and obviously created the Initiative and brought in all this talent. Like I'm expecting the Game Awards to be like the time that they jump out and like show us something big, right? We know last year they made a huge splash by showing off the Series X for the first time, like announcing it there and showing off Hellblade too. So yeah, I'm expecting something very, very similar from Microsoft. I think we might get some Halo news. I think that would be interesting. My money would be more on the Initiatives game and Starfield. Those would be my two big ones for sure.
Nice.
Yeah.
Starfield would be nice. I'd love to know more about that too. It's been so vague.
Right, exactly. It's been super vague, and the way Phil Spencer talks about it, and all these guys, it seems like that's the next thing that's coming, right? So you would have to expect that maybe it's coming a lot sooner.
I hope so.
I really, really hope so.
Yeah.
I mean, wouldn't it be? Well, they wouldn't do this because it's launching. Cyberpunk's launching that day, but it would be crazy if they like shadow dropped a game that big, like on the day of the Game Awards. That would be.
Yeah, like I said, I don't know something big at Starfield gonna be shadow dropped like that. But if so, I'm down.
Could happen.
Yeah,
I think if anything, we might get like a surprise announcement that may announce like a January release date, and we're all like, oh shit, that's way sooner than we thought it would be. Because it doesn't. I don't think anything's gonna shadow drop today or that day because Cyberpunk mainly is the reason why I don't think anything will shadow drop that day. I think if they were planning it, the moment they announced that Cyberpunk was moving to that date, they were like, all right, see you, we're gonna move on to something else, like it, because it just doesn't make a lot of sense. Like that's going to take up the conversation for most vocal gamers, I guess, because obviously I guess the general gaming world, like the people who play Call of Duty and all that stuff, they may not necessarily know about it or care about it, but yeah, I think Cyberpunk's going to be huge, and it'll kind of eclipse a lot of what ends up happening if anything else gets released. Like I think there were a couple games that got pushed because of Cyberpunk getting released. Like I think they announced that there was some Mech Assault game that was supposed to come out on December 10th. So they pushed it back because obviously who the heck wants to compete with Cyberpunk? And they haven't said this, but the Medium, a game that I know we've all discussed and we're looking forward to, they haven't said that they're pushing it back for that reason, but I suspect that's a large reason why they pushed back that game. Because you don't want to, you're like a small indie game, you don't want to be competing against a game like Cyberpunk. I don't care if you say that the audiences are different, it just doesn't matter. Like that game is so massive, it doesn't matter what genre you fall into. It's the closest thing that we have to a new GTA, right? Like from what it looks like aesthetically, and the fact that everybody's kind of aware of it in that regard. Yeah, you don't want to be anywhere near it. It's just a juggernaut. You just don't want to touch it. But yeah. Anything else that's interesting about the Game Awards that you guys had saw? I know I was looking through Jeff Keighley's Twitter page, and he had actually made a couple interesting announcements about different presenters. Apparently, we're gonna have. Let's see. I'm gonna pull it up here. We got Gal Gadot presenting, the lovely Gal Gadot.
Oh yeah.
We got Brie Larson presenting. I would not be surprised if it had something to do with Animal Crossing because she's a pretty big Animal Crossing fan. So Manny, you're right there with Captain Marvel.
There you go.
We also had. Let me see if I'm gonna make sure. We got Stephen A. Smith presenting, bro.
For what?
Best Stephen sports? Yeah, it's probably gonna be best sports game. But like, that's kind of dope, man.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm actually here for it.
Yeah, it's always interesting, right? Because we talk about how gaming is, becoming more and more mainstream, and the entertainment industries have no choice but to look at it, because it is as big as it is, right? It's prevalent in the fact that we were talking about Oscar Isaac being cast as Solid Snake in Metal Gear. The fact that Uncharted's coming out in the movie, Sony's recognizing that their movie studios want to leverage all the video game characters to start making movies. Like, it's interesting that, again, like Stephen A. Smith coming onto Game Awards, like it's all that stuff in a way gives more legitimacy to the medium, right? Like, it's just cool. I'm excited. I'm excited to see that.
Sony over here trying to create the VGCU, the video game cinematic universe over here. Yeah.
That's what what is it called? Nintendo did. They got the Detective Pikachu and Sonic. They're getting ready for the Super Smash movie.
Nah, if Nintendo was really out here trying to make like a real movie, I think they would probably do it with Zelda. I was
gonna say too. What is it called? They even got the Metal Gear movie coming out. Solid Snake is Smash too. So I mean,
oh god,
we're getting there.
If we got a Super Smash Brothers movie, I don't even know what I would do. Like, Just nothing about that makes sense.
Yeah.
Unless
they did
you made
Ready
it like the
Player
Lego
One or
movie.
something like that, I guess, right?
Well, I mean, Detective Pikachu and Sonic were like live action, so
Yeah, but Sonic's not Nintendo, so like that's
yeah. But I mean, he was in Smash.
There you go.
eh.
Reach.
Eh.
It's a,
I don't
it's
know.
a reach.
It's a reach for sure. We'll see how that goes down. But yeah, I mean, a couple other things apparently we should be seeing. I guess we should be seeing a couple sneak peeks into certain things. It's always cool because Jeff kind of trickles out information here and there. But I guess one of the things they talked about is we should be seeing a new look at the next Dragon Age, which I think BioWare desperately needs a win on.
Oh yeah, especially after Anthem. Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's just two massive flops in a row, right? Between
That's the fact.
Andromeda and Anthem. They really need a win. So I'm excited to see that.
I
Hopefully
mean,
that.
didn't like two of the biggest names of Bioware like leave like a couple
Yeah.
days ago?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
heard about
Yep.
that too.
Yep, the heads of the company left,
Mm-hmm.
which can mean good things, maybe, sort of,
Yeah.
kind of. Yeah. Another thing
But it
somebody
costs
had
you-
mentioned, yeah, I think it was in an interview with Phil Spencer, or it was Phil Spencer who said this. But a lot of the time that when we hear about these people leaving, they've already like left, or it's already been in
Yeah.
motion for a while. So their successor has already been picked, and they probably just need time away from this project or this role because they're not producing. So I actually think that maybe this guy's been gone for a while, or like the ship has changed in BioWare. I mean, I feel like it's just weird for him to all of a sudden, those people to all of a sudden have left now when they already had these two massive flops, and you would think that EA would want to like make some sort of change in their leadership, considering that they've had two massive failures.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't be surprised if the ship has already been redirected for BioWare. I don't necessarily know if that means it'll be, for the best or anything along those lines, but I don't know. We'll see.
We'll see.
Hopefully we get. Wouldn't it be nice if we got a new look at Anthem too at the Game Awards?
That's the perfect time for them to do it. Literally, it's the perfect time for them to do it.
Maybe that's a shadow drop right there in Anthem, done season 2 update.
I'm not even gonna be mad at that. If we get that, I would actually be good with that because I might be the one out of 3 people on that server when that 2.0 comes out, but I am gonna be on that server. I'm waiting for them to give us this stuff, but like they're not giving us no news.
Yeah, they're not giving us news. But I think that the fact that they're not giving us news means that they probably will do something like that, some sort of a shadow drop. Because if you think about it, the VGAs would make the most sense, right? Like, what's the event that most gamers would have their eyes on at pretty much almost any point in time would be something like this. I mean, the numbers that the VGAs pull in are actually pretty large, to be quite honest.
Yeah.
And it's something that they're streaming simultaneously in like Tokyo and obviously here in California and a couple different places. So like, it definitely seems like they would be able to have all the eyeballs that they would want, and that's something that they would need to get back into people's good graces. You have to make it free. You have to make the whole game free. It has to be free to play. You need to pull out some kick-ass trailer that makes people really want to dive back in, and just shadow drop it that night. That would be amazing. That would be amazing.
I would be very, very, very happy with that. Very happy with it. Like, based on the screenshots and the blog posts that we've been getting, I forgot from the guy. What's his name? I don't remember. But the guy who I guess is like the lead of whoever is, doing the revamp.
Oh, okay.
He's been doing blog posts like once every like couple months or whatever. And they get you excited, man. They get you like really souped up about what's coming, but we haven't gotten any kind of idea as to when. But man, that would hit people in the head for it to come out on the day of the Video Game Awards. That's smart marketing. If they was on it, they would do that.
Yeah, I mean it's not unheard of though, right? Like the VGAs are known to have those types of hitters, right? Like I could think of, what was it? Was it a couple years ago? Whenever we were all playing Fortnite, Manny, still.
Fortnite was the game, bro.
but like they released that like 50v50 mode like in the middle of the Game Awards. Like it was like, oh, like this is the trailer for it. It's available right now. Go play it. So like it's not unprecedented. I think there will be a couple things like that, and not just one. I think there'll be a couple things that are available right now. Like go download, go play. I think Fall Guys was teasing something too. Fall Guys may have some sort of um, I think season 3 might be announced there.
Hmm.
So who
It's
knows?
possible.
Maybe season
Actually,
3. What's up?
I was gonna say, I've been hearing the rumors with the new Call of Duty Cold War themed Warzone. Maybe they could show something there in the VGAs, which would like really be huge, which I would love to see.
That'd be cool. Although I heard that it got pushed back, so I don't know.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, that got pushed back.
Definitely
So I don't know
did.
if we'll see anything.
I heard something about December 16th, but
Right,
you know,
yeah.
if it got
Yeah.
pushed back after I just heard that like a day or two ago, I'm kind of tight.
Well, I'm wondering if December 16th was the date I heard too. So I'm wondering if December 16th was the date that it got pushed back to, or if it got pushed back further than that. But either way, from what I understand, it got pushed back. So
Yeah.
that could be something. We could see a sneak peek at it. That'd be cool.
Yeah.
But I know for sure we'll see Fall Guys because Fall Guys was teasing something on their social media account. So, and Jeff's had a pretty good relationship with them. Like they've announced content together before.
Yeah.
And that's another reason why I do believe that if something happens with this Silent Hill thing you were mentioning, it will happen to the VJs because Jeff and Hideo Kojima, like Jeff idolizes the guy from what we can tell. And yeah, he's been on the VGAs multiple times. So yeah, I can definitely see that happening. Man. I'm so excited for the Game Awards, guys.
Same here, man. I can't wait till Thursday.
For sure. I mean, for many reasons, but definitely for the VGAs in particular. Hopefully you guys watching and listening, you'll join us. Once again, we'll be on Twitch and YouTube. Man, I think it's going to be really cool. I cannot wait to see all the new stuff. Hopefully we'll get some you know what I think would be the dopest thing is considering it's coming out on the same day as Cyberpunk. If they worked out something with CD Projekt Red where we got like a sneak peek at the multiplayer thing that's supposed to be coming out next year, or maybe like some conversation around the next gen stuff, like the next gen enhancements that we're supposed to see, I think that'd be really cool too.
Yeah.
Apparently, right before the Game Awards, there's supposed to be a panel for, let's see what it says. I guess Phil Spencer, the CEO of AMD, and a couple of the people are going to have like a panel to talk about next gen gaming. So I mean, maybe we'll get a couple little nuggets of information there. That'd be pretty cool too. But yeah, I mean, I think as we all said, I think we can't wait for Thursday. I'm excited to see what we all get.
Yeah,
Also
man.
excited to see who wins Game of the Year. Even though we all know it's gonna be Animal. No.
Yeah, man.
Animal Crossing.
That game was breaking people. Spirit consoles. It was just soft.
Who bringing the console from Animal Crossing? I
Yo,
want to find that out.
He was going to hard. Cats and switches wasn't turning on no more, man.
You know,
Yeah.
it's Animal Crossing scientifically to make you a happier person. So
Not that day.
Supposedly. But yeah, actually speaking of the final thing we'll go into talking about Game of the Year, it seems like I'm wondering if this has something to do with the controversy around the Game of the Year nomination, but it seems like they just released something new called the Player Voice Award. They started it off, let's see, it looks like last Wednesday, where they had 30 different games that people could just vote on. I guess this is their version of the People's Choice Award or People's like Game of the Year Award. Yeah, but they had 30 games people could vote on, and the first round they cut out the bottom 20 games. So as of right now, and this is Sunday the 5th, as of right now, the games you can vote on would be Among Us, Animal Crossing, Demon Souls, Doom Eternal, Final Fantasy Remake, Ghost of Tsushima, Hades, Spider-Man Miles Morales, Ori and the Will of the Wisp, and The Last of Us Part 2. So I guess they're gonna chunk it down to a round 3 and then that'll be voted on. It seems like in the middle of the Game Awards. So I wonder, do you guys think that may have came about because of the conversation around the Game of the Year?
Well, they probably saw a podcast and they're like, you know what? Maybe they are right about Final Fantasy not being there.
Let's
Animal
nominate
Crossing
it
was
again.
Well, yeah,
well,
I mean,
it's
I think
the
it
fans
makes sense
voting.
to, yeah,
So like,
exactly,
it's not,
yeah.
and again, like multiple votes. It's not like fans are getting like one vote per round. So
Mm-hmm.
you know, yeah.
I think you can use 5 votes. According to this, you can vote 5 for 5 different things in this round. So I'm wondering if the first round maybe you could vote 10 times or something, and they're just going to keep chopping it down from there. But yeah, apparently right now Ghost of Tsushima is in the lead with 14%, and then Last of Us Part 2 is in second place with 11%. Then Hades, it's kind of a gridlock with 10%. So Hades, Miles Morales, Doom Eternal, Final Fantasy Remake, and Demon Souls are all at 10%. And then, of course, we got Animal Crossing, Among Us, and Ori and the Will of the Wisp at the bottom of the list. But yeah, I think it's kind of interesting. I would have to imagine that at this stage, someone's I don't know. I was wondering if one game would cannibalize the vote for another game, but now that we're talking about the fact that people have 5 different votes, I guess that wouldn't necessarily be the case. Because I'm thinking like, okay, like if you loved Ghost of Tsushima, and maybe, like you wouldn't have voted for Last of Us, you would have voted for Ghost of Tsushima, but like it would have cannibalized the vote for for The Last of Us being up there. Like I'm surprised that Ghost of Tsushima is in the lead, to be quite honest with you. But hey, we'll see how that goes.
Yeah.
It's the player's voice.
As long
Speak
as it
up.
ain't Animal Crossing, we good, bro. We good.
Animal Crossing is.
That's just hate right there. Like,
It's
that
not.
is hate.
It's not.
You basically saying screw Animal Crossing. Like,
I did not.
you know, I'm like me. I'm just like, let the best game win. If Final Fantasy somehow wins, Final Fantasy somehow wins. It's the player's voice, not mine.
If Final Fantasy wins, I'm really gonna be mad about that. Like, how they snuck their asses into a whole nother category talking about some We the Voice too. Sit down.
Hey, this is the people. This ain't the
I mean, we're the people too, right? You guys can vote too.
People. And I already casted my vote, so you already know. Animal Crossing, I voted it 5 times, so
sounds about right.
Sounds
about right.
There's Last of Us, Tsushima, Animal Crossing, Among Us, and Miles Morales.
Okay, cool. Well, Chris, just to because you're making a face, which one of these you gonna vote for?
I don't know. Off the top of my head, I guess I'm gonna go with Last of Us, but that's not definite. That's not set in stone.
Okay.
That's actually, question is, when's the last day to get your votes in if you're gonna be doing that?
It looks like for this round, it'll end tonight. Well, it says there are 8 hours left as of right now.
Yeah, there's round 2 out of 3.
All right.
Yeah, so I casted my vote for Among Us, Spider-Man Miles Morales, Ori and the Will of the Wisp, Last of Us Part 2, and Doom Eternal, because I enjoyed that game, and I feel like it's obviously not gonna win, but I hope it gets pushed up a bit more.
Not everything needs to win, but it deserves to be there, though.
Yep.
Yeah,
I would say that one deserves to be there. It's good.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good game. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. All right, guys. Well, we'll leave it here for now. Once again, make sure you join us on Thursday, December 10th for the Game Awards. We're going to be streaming it live on Twitch and YouTube. So make sure to check us out. Anything else you guys want to say to the people before we go?
Hey, man. I just want to say for those watching, what you guys want to see in the Video Game Awards, let us know in the comment section down below. What's, something you guys want to see be announced or, a trailer or whatever. We want to hear everybody's opinion, what they want to see. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. Even if it's Animal Crossing.
Yeah. I want to know what the people think got snubbed.
Absolutely.
That, but
Absolutely.
If y'all got comments on who you think got snubbed for different categories, let us know. Let's talk about it. Let's talk
sure.
about it, y'all. Let's talk about it.
For sure.
Mhm.
All right. Well, once again, I'll let you guys do your little outros here. Where can the people find you, Manny?
You already know. You can come find me at onlyfans.com.
Oh shit.
No, he's
Oh shit.
no, but seriously, you can find me Instagram, Twitter, Twitch, Goodmaster Flex. Instagram is just a little different. It's just Goodmaster Flex _ TTV. But also gonna try to do some YouTube videos. I'll let you guys know about that more sooner or later. But other than that, yeah, those are where you can basically find me.
All right. Go support the fam. Chris, what about you, man? Where can we find you?
Y'all already know, man. It's the same shit on everything. MAY25THXX on everything, including also Google. Because your boy just made a new Gmail. So if you got something you want to ask or something, send it on through.
All right. And as always, you can find me at Black Ice 8, pretty much everywhere. Twitter. The only difference, Twitter, Twitch, pretty much everywhere, except for on Instagram. It's actually Black Ice 8 _gaming. So make sure you check us out. And we'll see you guys Thursday for the Game Awards. Make sure you join us. Have a good one.